Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to part 6 of my sexual taboo series. Now, this is by far one of my favourite topics, female pleasure and marital intimacy. Now, female pleasure isn't a taboo in Islam. It's a part of Allah's mercy. Unfortunately, culturally speaking, we have now changed that into something worth of shame. But actually, we require empowerment and compassion as an approach to make sure that we're aligning our natural human tendencies and liberating in life rather than using them to crush and demean us. So let's talk about something that hasn't often left our conversation, but it's not really gone into too much depth and it's still very, very prominent, is female pleasure in marriage. Now, many Muslim women feel embarrassed or ashamed to even think about their desires, let alone express them in a healthy way. But here's some truths. Now, Islam honors and encourages your pleasure, just in the right environment. Now, let's break the silence and address the shame and understand what Islam actually says about intimacy. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't a fundamental part of being alive. Now, Islam acknowledges women's desires. Now, it might surprise you, but it genuinely does. And the Quran itself, in Surah Ar-Rum, he says, "And of his signs is that he created for you yourselves mates, that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy." Now, this verse isn't just about emotional connection. It includes physical connection too. It's very important that we acknowledge that and don't get physical intimacy screwed with what it is in this day and age. Physical intimacy is meant to bring you peace, love, comfort, equally for both partners. So when a woman experiences pleasure in a marriage, it's not just permissible, it's a part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's design. Why would he want you to be in that situation with the one thing you can share and you not enjoy it? So let's talk about our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's treatment of his wives as a model for us. So our Nabi Kareem treated his wives with kindness, affection, mutual respect. He would ensure they are satisfied in every way, physically and emotionally. Now, unfortunately, we're missing a lot of those skills these days, but let's go back to our origins. When a man has relations with his wife, he has a reward, and that is in Sahih Bukhari. Our Nabi Kareem also encouraged couples to communicate about their desires, ensuring that both parties were fulfilled. He never ever implied that only men could enjoy sexual intimacy or that women's pleasure was irrelevant. That's unfortunately a social and cultural construct that we are facing today. So let's break the silence around female pleasure. Really, without us, no one's getting any pleasure. So for many Muslim women, talking about their pleasures still feels like a taboo. Now, why? Because cultural silence surrounds female sexuality and sensuality. For generations, society has told us women that we shouldn't express our desires openly. But there's the thing. The Quran itself doesn't tell women to suppress their desires. It encourages intimacy and affection within marriage. So we've been taught to prioritize our husbands in ways that can make our own needs fall short or feel unimportant. But Islam does not neglect a woman's well-being, physically or emotionally. That's the cultural constructs put around our religion. So remember, our Nabi Kareem said, "It is your right to enjoy your wife, and she has a right to enjoy you," and that's in Sahih Muslim. This is a mutual exchange of love, not a one-sided duty. Now, it's really important to know that we give and receive love differently, and Allah has acknowledged us both. So what does this actually mean for you or us as women? You have the right to communicate your needs and desires in your marriage. It's okay to express what feels good and what doesn't, and what would make your relationship more fulfilling. Without you knowing yourself, he's not going to be able to know that. So your pleasure matters. Your body is sacred, and so is your emotional and physical connection with your spouse. So don't let shame silence you and rob you of such a beautiful connection that Allah intends for you. your desire, your love, your respect, your joy in every part of your marriage is somewhat very delicately connected to intimacy, because it's an exclusive act that you guys share. So let's start normalizing conversations about pleasure within the halal sacred space of marriage. Share this with a sister who may feel ashamed about her own needs, or is finding it difficult to express her requirements in marriage. And I think we need to reclaim the beauty of marital intimacy. In Islam, our pleasure is actually an act of worship when done in the right way. And I think there's so much beauty within that.